Hey guys, this is Jason, and today I am reviewing Peter Pan and Wendy, directed by David Lowery, and it is another live-action Disney remake that just got released on Disney Plus recently, and this time this is a remake of the original animated Peter Pan film. As you would already expect, this is about Peter Pan taking Wendy, John, and Michael to Neverland, a world where children will never grow up that is filled with lost boys, Tiger Lily, a crocodile, pirates, and Jude as Captain Hook. Now, if you've seen my review for the live-action Pinocchio film from last year, then you already know that I am not a fan of most of these live-action remakes from Disney. Some I've enjoyed, like Jon Favreau's The Jungle Book, but most of the other ones have either been mediocre or forgettable or just really bad. And I wouldn't consider myself a die-hard fan of Peter Pan. I mean, I love the animated Disney film from when I was a kid, and I still think it's a fun movie to this day. I did rewatch it as an adult just to see how this remake compares to that film. As for the other Peter Pan films that aren't from Disney, but I'm still gonna mention them anyway, I do like the live-action Peter Pan film from 2003, and I do like Steven Spielberg's Hook. I do think that's a pretty fun movie, and Robin Williams is fantastic in that film, and I do really like Finding Neverland, the true story about J.M. Barrie, the author of Peter Pan. And then there's Pan, which is, in my opinion, the worst Peter Pan film. Like, it had Captain Hook talking goofy all the time, like he would always talk like this for some reason, even though it doesn't make sense for Captain Hook as a character, but he decided to go for it anyway. Like, I don't know what the heck he was doing with that accent. And it also had Hugh Jackman as Blackbeard wearing feathers for some reason. It had really bad CGI and green screen, and of course, I could not mention Pan without the scene where Blackbeard, the pirates, and the Lost Boys all just, for whatever reason, start singing Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana and Blitzkrieg Bop by the Ramones. Yep, that's actually in the movie, and if you want to see it for yourself, both of those clips are on YouTube right now. So, as you can tell, I wasn't all that thrilled about a live-action Peter Pan film from Disney, but now that I've seen this one, I can at least say it's better than Pan. I can at least give it that. Like, this movie does have some redeeming qualities. Like, it's a very well-shot movie. Like, there are some nice takes of characters walking around either in Neverland or in the Darling House. Like, there's this one take in the beginning of the film where it introduces both Wendy and the two boys that we follow throughout the film. There is some pretty good imagery. Like, there's this one shot of a character around a spiral staircase. Like, that one looked pretty nice. I mean, the way it's shot isn't, like, amazing. There isn't, like, one shot that's, like, a big standout that a lot of people love to talk about. The way it's shot is just decent. The acting, for the most part, is fine, although there are times where some of the acting can get a little over the top and a little monotone. Like, the actor who plays Peter Pan in the movie, Alexander Malony, he was fine as a character, although he doesn't really show a lot of, like, fun and energy to the character like he was supposed to. He was just mostly a depressed version of Peter Pan, and sure, he does show a little bit of that energy when he's introduced in the first half of the film, but throughout the rest of the film, he just shows like a more depressed side. As for Evan Anderson as Wendy, I thought she did a pretty good job as the character. Like, her arc does get pushed when she has to go from being like a naive kid that loves to do fun adventure stuff to trying to learn how to be a more mature child and to learn right from wrong. And that's kind of her arc, trying to act more like a grown-up, and I thought she did a pretty good job as the character. And Jude Law was fine as Captain Hook. He felt like his own character. He was menacing in a few scenes, and this movie, without giving anything away, decides to make him a little more sympathetic sympathetic than he was in the original film. It does attempt to get the audience to understand why Captain Hook hates Peter Pan so much and wants him dead, and it's supposed to be like a sad backstory. Now, this is a very fast movie, and by fast, I mean it just rushes all the stuff that we're already used to seeing in a Peter Pan film, and there really aren't that many surprises except for them removing a couple of arcs and scenes that I'm pretty sure wouldn't work in today's time, but it just decides to rush everything we already know, like, oh, Peter Pan's now in Wendy and the boys' room. Oh, now he's taking him to Neverland. Oh, there's Captain Hook and the pirates. Oh, and here's the Lost Boys. Oh, now they're headed to Skull Rock. Like, it feels that rushed, and it doesn't really take a lot of breathe time to just let everything sink in. It's like the writers were writing the script and going, well, we don't want to do too many changes to the Peter Pan story because we don't want to get a lot of Peter Pan fans angry with the changes we're going for, except we're going to remove like scenes like Peter Pan and Wendy meeting the mermaids, and we're also going to remove the subplot with Tinkerbell that she goes through by hating Wendy and convincing the Lost Boys to shoot her down and getting her banished for that. Like, that's not in this movie at all. Tinkerbell doesn't have that kind of arc for some reason. They just decide not to give her an arc at all. Why? I don't know, but she's just there with Peter Pan, and there's nothing else interesting about her. There's also some green screen in the film whenever the characters are flying, and it's very noticeable. Like, it didn't look real at all, it just looked fake every time you see them flying. Despite the fact that I said that this is a very well shot movie and it looked decent, but I really can't say the same about what kind of colors that they use for this movie, because this is a very dull looking movie with a lot of dark green and blue colors and just a bunch of grass and hills and nothing cool or impressive to look at, which is such an odd choice for a place called Neverland. It's supposed to be fun and vibrant, a place where kids can feel free and to do whatever they want, and all you get are just hills and the ocean and nothing else besides that. Now, part of me should have seen that coming because this is directed by David Lowery, and he's known for using that kind of stuff in his films. Like his other film, A Ghost Story, which is a really good movie, by the way, had those dark and dull colors, but it made sense for that film because it was supposed to be about Casey Affleck after going through his death, seeing what his wife's life would be like without him and what his home would have been like without him around, and it made it a very sad story. And David Lowery also did the live action remake of Pete's Dragon, which is not a great movie, but it's just for me, and that movie also had some pretty dull looking colors, which didn't make the film feel fun or vibrant. What I'm saying is that he might not have been the right choice to direct a Peter Pan film, because Peter Pan is supposed to be fun and energetic and something that the kids can have an enjoyable time watching, but there's just a lot of dull colors and just like not a lot of interesting stuff around Neverland. Peter Pan and Wendy is not a terrible remake. Like, it's not one of the worst Disney remakes. Like, I wouldn't say it's as bad as last year's Pinocchio, which that movie was a total train wreck. This movie does have some redeeming qualities. Like, I do think Jude Law and Evan Anderson did a good job as Captain Hook and Wendy, and there's some nice shots in the film, but it still has mostly over-the-top acting, very dull colors, not a lot of fun and excitement throughout the film, and it's very rushed, and it feels short. Like, I know the movie's an hour and 40 minutes, but it just feels shorter than that. Like, the best way to recommend watching Peter Pan and Wendy is that if you're having a hard time going to sleep at night, then maybe have this on. This is actually a good movie to put on that you can just fall asleep through. But if you want to watch a more fun version of Peter Pan, then just stick with the animated film. That one's definitely more worth your time than this film. Or if you want to watch a good and fun live action version of Peter Pan, then stick with either the 2003 live action film or Hook. Those two films are much better than this one. But again, I will say this, I did like this one just a little bit more than Pan. I mean, at least this film didn't have a random out of place scene where the characters just start singing Smells Like Teen Spirit or Blitzkrieg Bob, which to this day, I still don't understand why they decided to add those songs in that film. I'm gonna give Peter Pan and Wendy a C. Again, it's not great, it's not terrible, it's just mediocre for me. And it's on Disney Plus right now, and if you have seen it, what did you think about it? Let me know in the comments below if you either loved it or you hated it. And as always, if you like this review, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.